The viewpoints expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPTT's management or owners.
The word cults, all right? To some, it conjures up images of Moonies and Hare Krishnas harassing people in airports. To others, it could be your neighbor, whose idea of a good time is sacrificing the babysitter. Now listen, why are people so afraid of cults that they kidnap their own children to get them out of cults? Tonight, we're going to meet cult members, deprogrammers, and a man who actually does the kidnapping. We'll also find out if today's cult is actually tomorrow's established religion, all right? Stay with us. We're going to find out next. How you doing, everybody? Let me enjoy. Zip it, zip it, zip it. Let's start now. I want to introduce our guests. Let's start right off at home base. We have Pastor William David Winn III. Is that correct?
That's correct.
How are you, my friend? Community Bible Church, Tampa, Florida, at the Loudmouth. Carol Giambalvo. Is that correct, Carol? Proper pronunciation?
That's right.
All right. With the Cult Awareness Network.
That's right.
Let me start off with the pastor. Pastor, you claim to be a pastor of a 20-person flock in Tampa, Florida. How would you characterize your organization?
We're not necessarily any different than a typical Baptist church or anyone else of that nature. I don't claim to be a pastor of a 20-member flock at this time. I don't know where that came from, but that's not accurate.
Are you a pastor? Is there any membership in your flock?
Yes.
How many?
5.
5?
Yes.
Oh, probably. I mean, I've had more dates in one night than that. Yeah. 5, all right. Did you previously belong to any other religion? I mean, why did you feel so compelled to start your own church?
Well, I don't particularly agree with the way the traditional church is structured today. And I also believe that there's many churches today that call themselves churches that I would consider cults. And thus, I'm where I'm at.
Why would you say they are cults?
Well, that the word cult is something that, you know, you talk to all kinds of different people and you get all kinds of different answers.
In your mind, what is a cult?
In my mind, what is a cult is anybody who does not believe that Jesus Christ was God and that through him, through believing in him or trusting in him, they can get to heaven. Anybody who you know, espouses a doctrine different than that, to me, is a cult.
Well, you say that other churches then are the cults. Would you say the Catholic Church is a cult?
Definitely.
They don't teach that Jesus Christ is God and that by reverence to him you can get to heaven?
Well, they don't teach, they teach reverence in a sense to Jesus Christ, but they do not teach that through faith in Christ as one Savior, that is the only way to get to heaven. They preach a system or a series of works through, you know, a series of things of human effort.
Don't have to make human effort, you just go.
You
if
just
you
go
that God
through
is,
faith.
Believe Jesus is God, you just go.
You put your faith in Jesus Christ.
Nothing else has to be done.
That's correct.
All right. You have a, wait a second, Carol, I'm going to come here in just a second here. I'm just trying to define the parameters of your beliefs, Pastor. How long have you had your church?
About a year and a half.
A year and a half. Your membership is really spreading pretty fast, huh? Well, your church is in Tampa. Do you have a house or a rectory or whatever you call it, or a pastorate?
Well, right now we meet in an apartment, but let me respond on something.
All right, okay. All right. Okay. Do you meet in the apartment or do you all live in that apartment?
Both.
You all live in the apartment, you meet in the apartment?
Both.
Both, okay.
Yeah.
What is the ages
And
of your
that's a church.
parishioners? How old is your flock?
19 to 32.
19 to 32.
Right.
All males?
No.
Females?
Both.
Both. How many males and females?
Two females and 3 males.
Okay. All right. Okay, well, now, you were going to define something for me. Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to respond in reference to one thing, that the size of a particular organization or a particular belief has got no bearing in any way, shape, or form in reference to the accuracy of it. In fact,
Okay.
I believe...
I grant you that.
that the
Christ started
majority-
off with just 12 disciples.
Yeah, but I believe actually that the majority is often wrong. And in spite of the way the country here is set up, in the sense that majority rules, majority in this country does rule, but the majority is often incorrect.
All right. Let me go to Carol Giambalvo. Carol, you're a member of a group called Cult Awareness Network, am I correct?
Yes.
What do you think of Pastor Winn's Community Bible Church? Do you know anything about it?
I know a little bit about it. Yes, I think that it is I believe that it is a cult.
Why?
Because the dictionary definition of a cult is
Don't
not
tell me
what
the
we're
dictionary
going through.
definition. What do you think?
Okay, because it fits all of the descriptions of a destructive cult, which
Destructive,
is
that's
one...
the word I'm looking for.
That's right.
Why is it destructive?
It's destructive in that it fits an organizational structure that is pyramidal with one person at the head who gives all the orders.
Are you the one at the head who gives all the orders?
No, not exactly.
What's not exactly mean?
Well, I don't necessarily give orders. That wouldn't be
You
accurate.
set the doctrine of your church?
If I'm going to pastor the church, then I'm going to be in agreement with its doctrine, yes.
Okay, you're going to be in agreement. If they're going to be members of the church, they have to be in agreement with the doctrine also.
Yes,
If they are not indeed, do you allow them to just leave the apartment and leave the church?
of course.
They can leave anytime they want.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's-
Doesn't seem like it
that's
fits any cult to me.
That's inaccurate because I
do
know
you know
of
that?
parents who were trying to have access to their daughter who was living with the pastor and
Living with or living at the pastor?
living
At the pastor's.
at the pastor's home
Oh, okay.
with the pastor in the same home.
All right, but there was
And
nothing
she was
going
not,
on that you knew
I
of.
mean, they wanted to take her out to dinner, and he would not, he said she had choice. Of course, she can go, but he's standing there over her, looking at her as if she went. It's a double-bind situation. If you went, you're going against me, and if you stay, well, then you're doing my...
Pastor, have you had any dealings with the Cult Awareness Network?
Yeah, I think they're a cult themselves.
All right, why? Let's hear why.
Well, they espouse a whole series of beliefs.
That's not
and
true.
Well, let me hear what he says, and then you can respond to that.
They're espousing one right now. They're setting themselves up. I believe they're actually setting themselves up to be God. And that they are in a position, they believe, of determining what is destructive and what isn't, and who are they to do that? Who and by what authority, who
By
are they?
what authority do you set yourself up as the one to create the doctrine for your church?
Well, I'm going to tell you God, but
You are God?
no, I didn't say that. Not at all. I'm a wretch that's saved by grace through faith, and I'm not any different than any other human being in that sense.
Okay. Carol, what kinds of activities going on at the Community Bible Church do you find objectionable? What have you really heard that you can pin your finger down on?
The use of thought reform techniques, the use of the turning of his followers against their family, not having family access, except if the family comes to the home and stays there.
Has it been alleged to you that there's some sexual activities that go on there that are rather interesting?
It has been alleged.
Pastor, I'm going to give you a chance to respond to that in just a second. We're going to be right back, all right?
Okay.
Next, we'll meet a kidnapper, all right? And you know what? He's damn proud of it. Stand by.
In just 1 week, I lost enough weight to actually see the difference.
The Slim Fast Pledge. Give us a week, we'll take off the weight. Each Slim Fast shake is a delicious, nutritious, low-calorie meal.
1 week and the weight was gone.
Give us a week, we'll take off the weight.
This itchy rash needs special treatment. Maximum strength cortisone 5 with the medicine doctors recommend most gets under the itch for soothing relief and help in healing. See, the rash is gone. Use cortisone 5 with the medicine doctors recommend most.
Introducing AmberVision, an amazing breakthrough in vision technology. AmberVision improves vision indoors, outdoors, day or night.
Everything is so much crisper and clearer.
I can't believe my own eyes. They're amazing.
AmberVision blocks 100% of dangerous ultraviolet light. You'll wear these high-fashion glasses all year long in one size fits all. Similar products sell for much more, but now you can order AmberVision for just $10. Seeing is believing with AmberVision.
Use your credit card and call 1-800-435-8400.
Do you know how big number 1 Cochrane is?
No! How big is it?
Number 1 Cochrane is this big, with Cadillacs, GMC trucks, Pontiacs, Isuzu, Suzuki. Number 1 Cochrane has the biggest showroom in the world. Look, number 1 Cochrane is the biggest, so it makes sense that they have the car or truck you want right here, and it's going to be the best deal anywhere. Number 1 Cochrane, Pontiac, Cadillac, GMC, Isuzu, and Suzuki. Number 1 Cochrane, it's incredible.
When our eyes meet, it's like spontaneous combustion.
Yuck. Too weird.
Well, maybe I shouldn't call.
She's all you've talked about since we moved. What a wimp.
Here goes nothing. Wait a minute. Okay.
With AT&T, your long-distance calls go through twice as fast, and for that,
Hello?
we apologize.
Susan?
Roger?
Yeah, this is Roger.
Hey, Pittsburgh, mark your calendars for Friday, September 30th. See Morton Downey Jr. live at the Syria Mosque Ballroom, courtesy of WPTT Television and DeCesar Engler. Be a part of Mort's show. That's right, the Mighty Mouth himself is coming to Pittsburgh live at the Syria Mosque. This is your only chance to see Morton Downey Jr. live Friday, September 30th at the Syria Mosque Ballroom. Tickets go on sale Friday, August 5th.
Let me introduce some more folks that we've got at our loudmouths. Let me introduce loudmouth number 2, Kevin Garvey, a cults expert and a deprogrammer. And at home base, Mark Blocksom, who's a kidnapped deprogrammer. First, let me come back because I think the pastor wanted to have an explanation, a response to what the young lady said when we left the last segment. And also, I wanted to ask you, what was the high point of the membership in your church?
I think it was about 12.
And 12?
Yeah.
In fact, were the others counseled out of your church or kidnapped?
A couple were. A couple were, and 5 of them were allegedly deprogrammed. I'd say they were brainwashed.
They were brainwashed.
This organization that's wrapped around me here, that's a cult itself.
We don't deprogram anyone. Cult Awareness Network does not recommend deprogramming at all.
For one, I'm not part of the Cult Awareness Network.
No, this is Mark Blocksom, all right? Mark is, as you call it, a kidnapper, all right? And as I say, a blessed deprogrammer. Mark, I think everyone's heard about parents hiring someone to kidnap their kids away from these crazy cults. Why is it that kidnapping seems to be the only recourse sometimes?
Well, because, okay, I won't claim to know too much about this gentleman here's group, but groups like it usually will isolate the cult member from family, or they will try to undermine their ability to communicate with the outside world and consider alternative ways of living or alternative ways of, praising God or living a spiritual life.
It's been said, Pastor, that your members, as you've pointed out before, are not free to come and go as they please. I should say, as other people have pointed out before, not free to come and go as they please. And indeed, you admit that 5 of them have been, quote unquote, brainwashed out. Can you tell me, kidnapping really does make sense then to straighten these people's lives out, doesn't it?
No, it definitely does not.
Go ahead, keep
No.
talking. I'm just going to pick this up before I burn the studio down.
Okay. What you basically have, and first, it's not true that members in my church have not been free to come and go as they please. That's not true at all, okay? And what the lady's doing is...
Wait, before, I mean, are they
I
fit? I know you're not finished,
okay?
but
What
no, at the same time you're giving them a
repeating is
misimpression.
hearsay,
Wait, you're
okay?
saying that they're not free to, like you physically, I know, we all know you don't physically lock the door.
But you do.
Huh? Yeah, I do.
Okay, well, who gives you the right?
Huh?
Who gives you the right?
Huh? I think the sanctity of the family does, okay?
The sanctity of the family?
And I'll tell you, mentally, no. In this country,
the family
we were
is
also
correct all the time?
guaranteed the right.
Who's to say that?
For freedom, we were guaranteed freedom of thought in our Constitution.
That's exactly right.
You're darn right. And nobody has the right to come along and make people feel guilty,
and neither
ashamed,
do you.
afraid.
And neither do you.
If they're to leave some group or some pastor or somebody
And
that
you don't
claims
have
to
any
speak
right
in the name
to
of God.
grab them?
They do not start following me around. They don't live with me. They do not
What are you
donate
doing putting your
money
hands
to me.
on them? If I put my hands on people like you do, young man, you'd have a fit.
Well, I'm not
and this lady up here...
Let me ask you, Pastor.
Put your hands on
Let me
people.
ask you. Well, wait a second. Now, it has been alleged, all right, that indeed your flock of sheep may sometime be fleeced by you. All right?
100%
no matter what's been alleged, okay? If I pulled the same kind of nonsense that this gentleman here pulls and this organization over here apparently condones, okay? She'd be sitting here behind the microphone saying, don't you abduct people? Don't you sit them down and tie them to a chair? Don't you do all this stuff, Mr. Winn? That's what would be coming out of the microphone. Instead, we have over here the wolf in sheep's clothing pulling the same nonsense.
Well, let's hear if he does pull it.
Hey, I'll tell you.
The people... pulls it.
Huh? I'm not no... don't be starting attributing your biblical passages to me, okay? Because I don't appreciate being called things that I'm not, for one. By somebody that claims to speak in God's name, you know, I mean, what authority do you answer to?
God.
In the Bible, what authority are you supposed to answer to? You're supposed
Where's
to...
your pastorship come
That's
from?
right.
Did you graduate from
First of all,
Bible school?
There is
Did you graduate from a Bible school, or were you indeed thrown out?
I was put out over a lie.
Wait a second. Over a lie, you say? Over a lie?
Yeah, a lie.
What kind of a lie?
A lie that
What
the
was the lie,
president
sir?
of the school told.
What was the lie?
He said that he claimed that I agreed to resign from heading up a ministry, which I did not, and thus the administration, his school, was very upset with me, and he covered his tail through saying that I had agreed to do something I did not do.
Okay, let me introduce Kevin Garvey for just a second. Kevin, of course, is a cults expert and a deprogrammer. Kidnapping seems to be in the eye of the beholder here, Kev. Who kidnapped Sue and for what reason?
Well, one, I want to go on record. I don't know much about this gentleman's group. From what I've heard in the last hour or so, he's using a lot of coercive influence on people. He's using a set of controls which make it difficult for families to have free access to the people who are their children in his group. If that's the case, and if the family is discerning that there's an awful lot of difficulty arising with their child, their adult child, they actually have, as a set of parents, they have a legal right to have access to their child. If his group is preventing them from doing so, in my view, in very, very extreme cases, and I want to describe one that certainly doesn't pertain to his group.
Well, let me ask him a question then. If you say these things, and Pastor, let me ask you, do you indeed prevent the family from having contact with the flock?
No, that's not at all true.
Do you tell the family that if the member of the flock, that if their family wants to talk to them, that's perfectly all right, go out and enjoy your family, listen to your family, because God loved the family, because of his own holy family that he had with Mary, Jesus, and Joseph?
It
I mean,
depends,
you explain that
it
to them,
depends
right?
what the family is doing, okay? I've had members that have been in my church.
Family wedding, like a
Wait a
graduation.
second, let me hear him finish, though, all right? We haven't given him a chance to build his structure before you tear it down.
Okay, I've had members of my church that have had members of their family, which you're calling the sanctity,
yes,
that physically, sexually abuse them, okay?
That's bull.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
There are cases where that's happened.
Now, what happens often is through the gossip and the nonsense that these people over here preach, and the alleged expert that this gentleman claims to be, and who's to say he's an expert?
Well, I claim he is.
Well, that doesn't do it.
That
okay?
doesn't. That doesn't.
No. Wrong. Wrong.
Isn't that how you got
Trust
to
me,
be a
oh
preacher?
mighty leader of a cinco flock, all right?
No.
Trust me, pal.
No,
How
I
did
will
you
not
get
trust
to be
you.
a preacher then?
How'd you become a pastor when you got your little white ass kicked out of Bible school? You designated yourself a pastor, am I correct?
No, it's not correct.
Someone came down, you had a dream, and Jesus came to you and said, "You are my pastor," right?
Wrong.
You read the Bible, and you found it in the Bible, right?
Wrong.
You designated yourself.
No.
Your 5 people said, "Man, we dig you so much, you're so religious, you're our pastor," right?
No.
How the hell did you become one?
Well, I'll tell you if you
Good.
want to.
Like to listen.
Okay, good.
Like to listen.
How many times did you get in bed?
Let me hear him. Let me hear him tell me.
Really?
Let me hear him tell me, and then you ask that
I'd be
question.
interested in hearing who designated your pastor as well.
Who's going to tell a story?
There's passages in the Bible that lay out the requirements to say that who is to be and who is not to be. And the church that we formed without a pastor got together, went through the qualifications, and chose me to pastor that flock.
Okay, I'll buy that.
How old are you?
I'll buy that. How old are
One
you?
wife.
What?
What about the one about having one wife?
Okay, now let me ask you this, okay?
Well, what's that mean about having? Oh, wait a second, I don't understand.
one
You
of the
guys got a little
qualifications in the
secret here I don't
Bible.
understand about.
One of the qualifications of an elder in the Bible is that a man should have one wife. I believe this gentleman has been married twice.
Boy, I guess that lets me out, too.
Now, let me answer her question, okay? Now, before I answer you, are you going to accept the Bible? Okay?
I'm not here to
If you're not going to go by it, don't
The
quote
Cult
it to me.
Awareness Network is not
Many people
concerned
have had
about
us
beliefs
accept the
or
Bible,
faith.
and many people have died because of other people's interpretation of the Bible.
If you're going to acknowledge it as the Word of God and we're going to go by it, okay, then we'll get into it. Otherwise, do not preach it at me, okay, and expect an answer
I
from
did not
me
preach, I asked a
based on
question.
your nonsense that you don't know what you're doing.
You're the one that claims to abide by the authority of the Bible. So I don't see any problem with her asking you whether or not you're going to
Couple
go
of
ahead and
problems.
submit to the authority of the Bible which you claim to follow.
I submit to the authority of it, but there's a couple of problems. First of all, you told me not to talk to you about the Bible.
No, I said don't give me your little labels about being a fox in sheep's clothing, okay?
Well, I'm going to do what I want to do in that sense.
I know
okay?
you will,
You're
because
right.
that's the arrogance that permeates your type of...
Go ahead, let's see you do it. Let's see you do it.
Do what?
Do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Explain it, man. You give me a lot of parable bullshit, and I haven't heard anything out of you. No, let me hear from him. He wanted to explain.
Okay, what is your question? And before you ask it, it would help if you don't stand there and cuss at me.
If I don't what?
Don't stand there and cuss at me.
Sting?
Yeah, don't do that.
Wait a second. What do you mean sting?
No, cussing at you.
It's not necessary to stand here and cuss at me to ask your questions.
All right. Oh, no, he's right. He's right. I don't need to use that kind of language. We'll come back because I got some other folks I want you to meet, all right? Is today's cult tomorrow's mainstream religion? He'd have you believe so. I'd have you believe that's bull. Stand by.
I believe the children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside.
If you could help just one child, if you could change just one life, would you do it? Through Foster Parents Plan, you have the power to lift a child and family out of shocking poverty. And for so very little, you can help them have life-saving food and vaccines, clean water, schooling, and above all, hope. All it takes is $22 a month, just 72 cents a day. When you call, we'll send you your foster child's picture and personal story. Through regular progress reports, you'll see a life transformed, and you'll feel a part of it through personal notes and drawings. Help a needy child discover a truly great love. Your love.
John Philip Webster, age 32 years. Looks older, acts older. John Philip Webster, 1 year later. Looks younger, feels younger, more confident. The reason? The new image step-by-step method. Possibly the most advanced hair replacement method ever devised. Definitely the most natural. Call now for your free brochure.
1-800-922-7500.
On the next taxi, Louis doesn't waste any time when he meets Alex's ex-wife.
Oh, you're kind of cute. I was afraid there for a moment you wouldn't notice.
A hot date is on.
Bingo!
And Louis arrives.
I'll be ready in a minute. Great. Because have I got an evening planned for us.
For a surprise evening on Taxi.
Tomorrow night at 7 on Pittsburgh's Great Entertainer.
Before every guest comes on the shows, our producer does what's called a pre-interview. So you get a general idea of where your guests stand on issues. Let me see if these are accurate with you, Pastor. Quote, we were raided by the Cult Awareness Network for controversial activities, alleged controversial activities. I mean, they literally kidnapped members of my church and then deprogrammed. I mean, isn't that outrageous, all right? And you were asked, what activities? Well, we all lived in the same house. Me, my wife, my son, and some other people, women too. We had one thing where no one owned anything. I mean, like cars weren't my cars, they were our cars. And they tried to accuse me of theft, and the only reason I haven't recruited more members is because I'm under criminal charges. What are the criminal charges?
Well, right now I have only one criminal charge against me that's still pending, and that's for trespassing on a college campus where I was teaching the Bible.
Trespassing on a college
campus? Right, I had 3 other criminal charges.
That is a minor misdemeanor then, really?
Well, the state attorney's office hasn't made a minor misdemeanor out of it, but that's basically what you would call it.
You also said...
Let's just recognize that...
Well, let me understand who you are, sir.
Bill Goldberg is my name. I'm a clinical social worker, and I've worked with about 400 former cultists in a group that my wife and I run for former cultists. I don't know this gentleman, and I don't know the group that he claims to represent, but I can tell you that every cult leader that I've come in contact with has maintained the same kind of glib, smarmy attitude. Now, I don't know if maybe this gentleman is sincere, but I do know that cult leaders have their members under complete, total dominance. Sure, you can go with your family anytime you want, but you're going to fry in hell if you do. But they have full access to them. Every cult member that's brainwashed and under mind control is completely dependent upon the mental health of their leader for their own physical well-being. People that are not programmed cannot be deprogrammed. I can sit and talk to you forever and try to talk you out of your religion, Mort, and I wouldn't get anywhere because you're not programmed into your religion. A deprogrammer...
How do you answer that, Pastor? Indeed, they can't be deprogrammed if they were never programmed, could they?
Well, easily. First of all, we don't know whether this gentleman here is fleecing a flock of 400 to start with. Secondly, we don't know that what he's calling a cult is actually a cult. Secondly, all deprogramming actually amounts to is changing a set of beliefs from one belief to another.
But deprogramming amounts to, Mort, is taking a person and bringing them back to point zero. A deprogrammer can't make a person believe anything. They can't make him believe what he used to believe.
Because otherwise you wouldn't be a deprogrammer, you'd be a brainwasher.
Absolutely.
Which is precisely what these gentlemen...
9 out of 10 people that are deprogrammed choose to stay out of the cult. And that 1 out of 10 that chooses to go back to the cult, although it's a poor choice, they have a right to do so, because then they know what they're doing.
All right, I'll go along with that.
Have you ever sat in on a deprogram?
Let me interrupt just a second again, Mark, because the pastor made some other statements, all right? I don't like any of today's churches. You said that.
No.
In fact, I was thrown out of Bible school because of a lie by a teacher. You said that.
No, that's not exactly true. I was thrown out of Bible college out of a lie.
Sir, this came from a tape.
I understand.
That you spoke in.
But it is out of context.
I see.
Okay?
You never went, so I formed a church about 1.5 years ago. Is that when you formed your church, about 1.5 years ago?
Yes.
Okay. And it's called the Community Bible Church. And right now, again, Pastor, this is why I asked this question, because at the very beginning of the show I said you had 20 members. You said in this interview, and right now we have about 20 members. We started with about 5. Eventually, I'd like everyone to become a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
How many members do you have?
At this time, 5.
Okay. At this time, 5.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, what's so special about your group that sets it apart from all the mainline traditional churches of today?
Well, I didn't say that. Okay.
Well, if you think that everybody should be a part of it.
Well, he said, as a matter of fact, it was very much like the Baptist church. I'm sure there's some Baptists watching the show tonight who are about ready to go take a suppository.
No, because what I've heard is that people...
Suppository, a word that disturbs you too, Reverend?
No.
You've been told, people that have left your group have been told that they will go to hell. Is that true?
No, that's junk.
That's junk.
How will you go to hell?
Yeah,
what are the prerequisites for going to hell?
Well, once a person has trusted in Christ as their Savior, they can never go to hell. I don't care what they do, okay? In other words, once a person puts their faith in Jesus Christ, who is God...
left your group,
Let me
Reverend?
finish.
What about the people that
Let me
left
finish.
your group? Are they saved now under your definition? Do they have just as much righteousness and right as the people that stayed in? Or did you turn your back on them and call them names after they left?
Yeah.
Talk about their sexual preferences?
Okay, which question?
Didn't you say all Catholics were going to hell,
I want
Reverend?
all of them answered.
Didn't you say all Catholics were going to hell?
No, I didn't say that.
You never said that.
No, I did not say all Catholics are going to hell.
Come out here. Let me introduce you. This is a gentleman right here. This is the gentleman who pre-interviewed you.
Right.
You told him that all Catholics were going to hell.
No, I did not.
How did you phrase it?
Okay, I'll tell you exactly.
Thanks, Ed. I just wanted to get you on television so your girlfriend could see it.
What the Catholic Church is today, or what the Catholic Church teaches today, is not consistent with the Bible. If people believe what the Catholic Church teaches, they will not go to heaven.
Where will they go?
They'll go to hell.
Disneyland?
No, they go to hell.
Wait, once saved, always saved.
The definition of a cult has nothing to do with what religion. A cult can be a political cult, it can be a psychotherapy cult, it can be a New Age
awareness
cult.
group.
But what the definition of a cult is, it has to do with the practices, the thought reform, the splitting away from the family. Those are the reasons that a group is labeled a cult.
Let me introduce you to a gentleman here, all right? Let me introduce you to Reverend Saigon Ibrahim.
Sargon.
Saigon.
Not Saigon.
Sargon. I thought you were a Vietnamese Jewish.
I know it. That's what I thought.
and yet you're a Methodist minister, am I right?
I am a United Methodist mainstream minister. And before long, I think I told you, your aunt was on my show 20 years ago. Having said that...
I never liked her, but go ahead.
You're talking... I must say that I am a mainstream minister, but I am against cult bashing, which is wrong. It is unethical.
You
to
have
lie
written.
about them.
Let me ask you
Wait a
something.
minute, to
Reverend, let me ask
lie
you
about
something.
them. Hold on.
You have written your notes. You can't ad-lib this.
No, I can tell it without it. To smear about them, to deny them their freedom. In our great city of Boston, where I come from, in Boston there is a statue to Mary Dyer, and the Calvinists of Massachusetts thought her a cult person and hanged her on Boston Common. Today we have a statue to her in front of the State House in Massachusetts.
The freedom of the members?
This is the land. Wait a minute. This is the land of the free.
Reverend,
This is
no,
the land
Reverend,
of
you
the
hold
free.
it, zip it up, baby.
Okay.
What about if indeed what we hear about the cults, that they prevent their membership, freedom of movement, freedom of expression, freedom of thought, are you still in favor of freedom of the cult?
Yes, I am.
You are a hypocrite.
No, just a minute. Let me say why. Well, I'm against the deprogrammer there, or the kidnapper and the deprogrammer there. This is the land of the free. Wait a minute.
You're right. It won't be free long. It won't be free long, Reverend, if people like you allow people like him or cult members to not have any of their freedoms.
Did you know you're a Catholic? All right. Martin, you are a Roman Catholic, are you not?
I've been Roman a long time, Reverend.
Yes. A Roman Catholic. You know Francis of Assisi, when he started the Catholic Church, thought he was a cult. They want to get rid of him. Today, you pray to him, Martin.
I don't pray to him, pal.
Well,
Maybe
you're a bad
do.
Catholic.
I'll be
That's
bad in
why.
a second.
Nearly 100 steps to the top, but less than 9.8 seconds to the bottom, and that's why they call it Cliffhanger Falls. At Conneaut Lake Park.
Conneaut Lake Park's awesome double water slides. Cliffhanger Falls was fun for big people, but a nightmare for us. Revenge! We got Conneauters, Kitty Cove, 2 waterfalls, wading pool, awesome mini slide, big guys not allowed.
The following message is for homeowners only.
Now you can see and almost feel Cool Vent custom-built replacement windows and doors in an exciting 3D booklet. To get your free copy of this new Cool Vent 3D brochure, just call the number on your screen and one will be mailed to you with no obligation. Cool Vent will even include the special 3D glasses. This is not a child's toy. This is your chance to examine the entire story of Cool Vent replacement windows and doors in exciting lifelike 3D. You'll see a Cool Vent window tilt in for easy cleaning, a bay window jump off the page, a door so real looking you'll want to open it, plus many, many more startling 3D effects. There's even a page on Cool Vent vinyl siding. You'll also get a special TV discount coupon that will save you up to 1/3 off if you decide to have Cool Vent install windows, doors, or siding on your home. To get your free Cool Vent 3D brochure, 3D glasses, and discount coupon, just call the toll-free number on your screen. Homeowners only, please.
Next time on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Once unleashed, the unit is invincible.
The crew is hunted by a computerized killing machine.
It's one of those things off to my ship.
Now the Enterprise is targeted for destruction.
Return fire! We missed!
Backup system's failing.
It's a duel to the death with an invincible enemy on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Sunday night at 7 on Pittsburgh's Great Entertainer.
If you've been hurt in a motorcycle accident, you should call attorney Edgar Snyder.
If you're hurt in a motorcycle accident, you may need a lawyer. Many insurance companies seem to have no respect for injured cyclists. The company may say you were at fault just because you were riding on a bike. But who's going to pay for your medical bills, lost wages, and pain and suffering? Call my law firm for a free evaluation of your case. There's no fee unless we get money for you.
Call attorney Edgar Snyder, 391-2101, 391-2101.
Every week at TV Guide, you'll find writing that's really worth reading. For example, our summer fiction bonus, part 1 of a short story about sportscasters, sabotage at the Olympics, and competition on both sides of the camera. It's an exclusive by love story author Eric Siegel. And don't miss Rating the Daytime Soaps. Molly Ivins tells you who's hot, what's new, and what's next. It's all inside the new TV Guide. Pick up your copy. It's on sale now.
It's Pittsburgh's favorite nice guy, Archie Bunker.
Just let me do the talking here. Excuse me, get lost.
All in the Family, weeknights at 11:30 on WPTT, Pittsburgh's great entertainer.
A young man dreams of representing his country in Seoul. A father dreams of being there to cheer him on. Seagram's Coolers American Team Family Fund makes it possible for someone from the athlete's family to be there in Seoul.
Come on, Jim.
To cheer him on.
Come on.
You can help.
I'm going to Seoul, Jim.
Ask for details where you buy Seagram's Coolers. It's a wonderful way to say good luck, thank you, and cheers.
Let me, for the Reverend's sake here, Kevin, for the Reverend's sake, because I know he wants to talk about cult awareness, let me talk about cults and non-cults for a second, all right? Characteristic of a non-cult group, Reverend, the dignity of the individual, humanness, uniqueness, strengths and weaknesses are accepted. You do that in your church.
Indeed.
You accept that.
I have a good church and very lovely people.
Cult-like group, Reverend. The individual is subservient to the organization. Each must conform to a perfect standard, denying his humanness, all right? Furthermore, God provides in a non-cult group, God provides strength, direction, and purpose for each individual. In a cult-like group, the individual must sacrifice for God. God needs our help. Baloney. God needs no help from us. Now, you wanted to say something to the Cult Awareness Network.
Well, I'm really offended as an American citizen by the Cult Awareness Network and its tactics.
All right.
Its smear tactics. It wanted to ally itself with the government and use the U.S. government to attack cults. And once you start attacking cults, you lose your freedom for the Protestants, the Catholics, the Jews, and everybody else.
How did we ally ourselves?
One step...
We never allied ourselves. We never allied ourselves.
Wait a minute. We are Americans. America
Jump in there.
is... You don't understand. America is freedom. Freedom. Freedom.
Whoa.
Liberty.
Whoa, hey.
That's what
Hey,
we're
the Cult
about.
Awareness Network, what it's about
Every
is
citizen
freedom.
is free to be who he is.
That's
Morton
right.
is
That
free
is
to
right.
be who he
Without
is.
anybody
Others have to
imposing
be
their
free
will
who
on
they are.
psychological
They are
techniques.
indeed.
You people are dangerous
I don't
to
use
our
psychological
republic.
techniques.
You are a danger to the freedom of America.
I don't try and get them to submit to me.
You are people that are dangerous.
Let me introduce
because
another
you act
gentleman,
as
all right?
KGB
Let me introduce,
of thought.
Reverend, let me give you another page
Please.
for your history, all right, sir?
Yeah.
Because
I
I
wanna talk
know,
about-
I know you are basically a very decent gentleman, all right?
I know.
All right,
Thank you.
misguided but decent. Now, let me introduce you, please. Let me introduce you to Steve DuBrow Eichel. Steve, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right, you attended a 7-day seminar by the Moonies, didn't you?
That's right. We're talking back in ancient history in 1975. But
Fascinating experience because you were really undercover. Tell us about it.
well, I wasn't undercover in the sense that I did tell them that I was going there to interview people and to write a paper. However, I also stated that I was highly interested. I did, I guess, let on to the Unification Church that I was potentially a convert, when in fact I really had no intention to convert. However, after 2 days...
He deceived them.
He deceived them?
Yeah, he went in there and told a lie.
You can't even spell my last name, so don't tell me who I am. I went in there to do research, which I told them, in fact, I was doing. They asked me if I was, well, I went in there. After 2 days, my belief system was shattered. I could not believe what I was witnessing.
You're a weak person.
No.
Reverend, the only
Nobody has
weakness,
shattered my
the
opinion, not
only
even-
weakness,
not even
Reverend,
Morton Downey.
Reverend, the only weakness I've seen displayed tonight is your gullibility, so relax.
Okay.
Please.
I think that
Let me hear
if
this
you're not-
story
if
first.
I'm a
I wanna hear
psychologist,
this
Reverend.
story.
The only people who cannot be successfully brainwashed are long-term professional criminals and schizophrenics. Everyone else is capable at some time in their lives, at some point in their lives, of being brainwashed.
There is no
'Cause
overwhelming
excuse me,
research
sir,
proving
excuse
your
me,
point.
That's absolutely
and
not
you're
true.
not a god because you're a psychologist.
That's absolutely
There is
not
no
true.
overwhelming research
Are you going to let me
to
talk?
prove your point.
Are you going to let me talk?
There's no overwhelming research.
Wait a second, Reverend Zip, before I overwhelm you.
Philip Zimbardo at Stanford.
Steve.
Showed this.
Let me hear Steve. Go ahead, Steve.
Robert J. Lifton showed this. There are hundreds of studies showing the social.
At the end of 2 days, your belief system is
my
shattered.
belief system began to
Deteriorate.
crumble. I began feeling agitated, anxious. I went into Unification Church through their front group, the Collegiate Association for Research of Principle, CARP. Nobody at that time mentioned Moon. No one said anything about Unification Church. It was completely deceptive. I knew CARP was part of the Moonies. I was very opposed to
What
Sun Myung
happened after
Moon.
your third day?
Well, after the third interesting thing, I ran into cigarette smoking saved me, Mort. You'll be interested in knowing, because I broke the rules. I broke the rules. They did not allow smoking at Barrytown, which is the Eastern Seminary of Unification Church. At 3 in the morning, when I was supposed to be sleeping, I snuck out onto the grounds to have cigarettes. There were other people there who were also anxious and doubting and wondering. We got together every single night, and basically we debriefed each other. As a result, none of us went in, although one of us did have a psychotic break and was hospitalized for 6 months.
This is smearing.
This is fact.
I think it's fact. I think it's fact.
Don't tell me what happened in my life.
We'll be back in just a second. I want to hear from the audience, and I want to hear the rest from him. Stand by.
This is Michelle Michaels of WDVE Radio, and it's going to be a weekend to remember at the Three Rivers Regatta. Join the hometown team of 7-Up, DVE 711, and WPTT TV, and cheer on hometown team driver Billy Roscoe Jr. of Allison Park in boat number 2. He'll go over 140 miles an hour in the Formula 4 racing machine. Billy's determined to win the championship for the hometown team, and it's going to be exciting, so we'll see you at the regatta. Sponsored by 7-Up, DVE 711, and WPTT TV.
Go, Billy!
I like to keep things moving in the right direction, straight down. That's why there's Red Devil Drain Opener. It's 100% active formula unclogs all kinds of drains. Red Devil Line. Send clogs where they belong!
I've written a sort of educational graffiti with Old English oil. It moisturizes to help prevent drying and cracking. Brings out wood's natural beauty in the glorious manner that befits my glorious manner. Old English helps prevent drying and cracking.
If the freezing and thawing of rain and snow last winter opened the way to leaks in your roof, American Heating can repair or replace your roof quickly and easily at a startling low price. Who can? American. Whether you have a hip roof, gable roof, or flat roof, depend on American Heating for quality shingles to last for years. American Heating will also inspect your gutters, metal flashing and downspouts, or do any cement work, including patios, driveways, and retaining walls. Call American Heating for a free estimate at 242-4600. Monthly payments available.
Had a rough day on the job,
where everything seems to be going up in smoke, and you feel like you're at the end of your rope.
Just ain't your day.
Let TV22 help you climb above the hustle and bustle with WPTT's Starlight Movie. 6 nights a week, you can cast your troubles to the wind. WPTT's Starlight Movie at midnight, giving you a good reason to stay up late.
Let me go to the audience, all right? Let me go to the audience. Ma'am.
I want to know if the 5 people he has with him now, if they wanted to leave his organization, if they were able to leave right now.
If the 5 people in your organization wanted to leave, could they split?
Sure. You want to call them and ask them?
I would like to.
Psychologically?
He'd like to.
Okay. You want the number?
Yes, I do. I live in Florida also, and if you ever came near my children...
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
I have 2 children. I live in Florida also, and if somebody in your organization ever tried to pick up my kids, I'd get a hold of you myself, personally.
Good for you. Good for you.
I have 2 questions. I didn't hear your name before. What was your name? What's your name?
Dave Winn.
Were you married twice?
Yeah.
Is that in your Bible? Does it say, you just answered your name, you just said you were married twice. Does it say you're allowed to be a reverend if you were married twice, yes or no?
I believe it does, yes.
Is that your interpretation of the Bible, or is it factually stated? You factually can state you'll go to heaven or hell, but you can't factually state if you can be a reverend or if you can't be a reverend. You interpret things as you want to.
I just did.
Well, where in the Bible does it say that you can divorce?
Well,
you never answered the question.
All night, baby, with the interpretations
you
on
answer
that.
very easy questions when you want to, but you can switch things around, and people who might not be as intelligent you
Hold
are,
it.
you simply can just
a whole bunch of junk.
You can
Okay,
say it's
let's
junk, but you
stick with
simply
the facts.
cannot answer the factual questions. You can change things around. You
Says
can take
who?
advantage of people who are
Says
not.
who?
What's
Says
the,
who?
What's the telephone
your own
number? Let's call his
interpretations of your
Let's
Bible.
call his parishioner. What's the telephone number? You have the telephone number? Go call. Go call. Get a parishioner on. We'll see what they have to say. Get a parishioner. Let me come this fella. Go ahead, pal.
I'd just like to say one thing. You know, regardless of your views about cults, I'd like to ask the woman from the Cult Awareness Group, what do you think about the First Amendment? What about freedom of religion?
I believe very much in the freedom of religion. And the Cult Awareness Network believes in the freedom of religion. It also believes in the freedom of the individual.
This is not a religious issue.
It is not about faith
Definitely
or
is.
belief
It is
or
not.
doctrine.
You're creating one.
It is about
Yes.
Of course it is.
It is
Both of
about
you.
mind control techniques.
Kevin,
It is
how many
about
of these things? Kevin Garvey, you've been in this business for years, pal. Speak up.
Number
Try
one,
and train the
the
reverend.
Cult
here.
Awareness Network, no matter what these people are saying about it, does not have a specific set of beliefs. As a matter
Nonsense.
of fact, it does not.
Nonsense.
The Cult Awareness, the Cult Awareness Network is about as homogeneous as the Democratic Party. It represents atheistic Jews from New York, Roman Catholics, Baptists from down south, Mennonites from Seattle, Washington.
So what?
Well, that
Number
leaves me
one-
out. I'm a Republican.
Good. Okay, now, these people, the people in the network, have a very, very difficult time coming to terms and coming to agreement on anything, much less what these people are implying. Number two, the Cult Awareness Network is on public record and on active record as defending the right of any individual to the free choice of religious belief and practice. What is at issue and what I take exception to is the long-standing public record of criminal activity on the part of many groups which hide behind the First Amendment. Two, the denial of information which is necessary for making a volitionary choice prior to becoming involved in a religion.
Practice what you
Number
preach.
three, the persistent use of techniques, rhetorical such as this gentleman and this gentleman are employing, and hypnotic and psychological, which we could go into
I'm
at great length.
mainstream. I'm not a
Number
cult.
two, whatever you were doing here,
You're
sir.
smearing already.
I am smearing nothing.
You are
I am
unethical.
I am
You are
referring to-
unethical. You are smearing
I am
already.
referring to
Reverend,
You are
Reverend,
smearing
I
already.
think this
to
is
what you were doing.
basically a kind man.
I'm
I
sure
think
he
this is
is.
basically
I'm sure
a
he
kind
is.
man
I'm sure
who
he is.
has already been programmed and doesn't realize.
Well, he certainly has
All right?
attitude.
When we come back, we'll try to talk to the pastor's flock. Stand by.
Light up your future. Turn on your career at the Art Institute.
I wanted to get ahead.
They have day and evening classes, so I kept the security of my job while learning an exciting new career.
I made it happen at the Art Institute.
Commercial art, photography, interior design, fashion illustration. Choose your career. Then make it happen day or evening at the Art Institute of Pittsburgh. Call 800-292-1100 for our free booklet. 800-292-1100.
Coming to the A.J. Palumbo Center at Duquesne University to Caesar Engler and WPTT TV 22 proudly present Joe Cocker and America Together. And coming Thursday, August 11th, it's Robert Palmer and special guest Steel Pulse at 7:30. Coming August 18th, it's the Jets and Stacy Q. All shows at the A.J. Palumbo Center. Tickets at National Record Mart, Kaufman's Record Outlets, or call 333-9550 and charge. Produced by Caesar Engler.
John Philip Webster, age 32 years, looks older, acts older. John Philip Webster, 1 year later, looks younger, feels younger, more confident. The reason? The new image step-by-step method, possibly the most advanced hair replacement method ever devised. Definitely the most natural. Call now for your free brochure.
1-800-922-7500.
Imagine a world without trees. A place unprotected from scorching sun and damaging winds, where giant dust storms roll across the countryside, and where nothing holds precious topsoil, and where erosion destroys crops and destroys the land. Now, imagine a world with trees, conservation trees, where leafy canopies cool the sun and tame the wind, where tree roots grip and hold the topsoil, and where rivers and streams run clear and clean, and where land is restored and crops are saved. Conservation trees help conserve our Earth's precious resources. A world without trees is no world for me or for you. Conservation trees make the difference. This is Eddie Albert, urging you to write the National Arbor Day Foundation for your free Conservation Trees brochure.
The pastor has been kind enough to give us the name of one of his parishioners. We've got her on the phone right now. Joy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Joy, the pastor is here with me. How did you become a member of the pastor's church?
Can you repeat your question?
How did you become a member of the pastor's church?
Well, I was with the pastor. I was with Dave before we formed a church. I met him on the campus of University of South Florida.
Okay. And so you understood his feelings about religion, his doctrine, etc. Is that right?
Yes, I did.
And you believed that he was the true light and the way towards getting towards God?
I couldn't hear your question.
You believed that he was a way of getting you toward God?
I believe that he could help me become closer to the Lord.
All right. Do you live in the house there?
I lived in Lutz, yes, in the home.
And you're free to go and come as you wish?
Yes, I was.
You see your parents on a regular basis? Wait a second, you were. Are you still?
I can't hear you. You have to talk louder.
Are you still free to go and come as you wish?
Yes, I am.
All right. Do you see your parents?
Occasionally I see them.
Where do you see them?
Well, my father I wish not to see.
All right.
Because of the way he has treated me.
All right.
And my mom, I saw her when she came to visit me.
You saw your mom? She came to visit you at the church?
Well, she came to my apartment in Tampa, Florida.
Okay. She came to your apartment in Tampa, Florida, where you live with other members of the church?
Yes.
All right. We've heard a lady who doesn't seem to have been programmed, very frankly, in that case. And in the short time we have left, I just wish to ask the Reverend here a question, Reverend. Maybe indeed I have maligned this man.
You have tried your best to, that's
Indeed, if I had had the Reverend James Jones here before he took his trip to Guyana, where he killed 914 of his parishioners, would you defend his right too, dear Reverend?
May I?
Would you defend his right, Reverend?
Well,
would you defend his right? Would you? Would you defend his right?
To a point, yes.
Was he a cult?
No.
He wasn't a cult?
He was an atheist. Wait a minute.
What a hypocrite. I mean, we got to listen to this crap. This is where the cult is.
No.
You're the cult.
No.
You should resign from your church. They need a spiritual leader, not a satanic leader. Good night, everybody.
You love him, you hate him, but you watch him, and now you can see Morton Downey Jr. live at the Syria Mosque Ballroom Friday, September 30th. Tickets go on sale this Friday, August 5th. Brought to you by DeCesar Engler and WPTT TV 22, Pittsburgh's great entertainer.